Welcome back. Now the tussle between the Tamil Nadu government and the governor over withholding of key bills drew strong reactions from the top court. The Supreme Court today framed 8 key questions for the governors as it continued hearing the DMK government's plea. The two-judge bench questioned whether the governor can veto the bill if it has been passed by the State Assembly multiple times. Another area of concern that the Supreme Court looked at was whether the governor's discretion to send a bill to the president is limited to specific matters or does it extend beyond prescribed subjects. Before the matter was adjourned for tomorrow, the top court made a scathing observation saying that the governor in this particular case seems to be adopting his own procedure instead of following the norms. Now, the DMK has hailed the observations by the Supreme Court today, terming them as a slap on the face of the governor. Listen in.
Consent to the bill. The Supreme Court has questioned the governor on him not giving the reason for sending the bill back. Is it not mandatory on the part of the governor to give the reasons for why he is sending the bill back? This is what we have been claiming, that the governor is not following the constitution. He is acting to his own will. He is acting as a super chief minister and the super legislator by not following the norms or not giving consent for the bill that has been passed by the legitimate government of the day. Hence, we see this as a victory for the DMK government, for the people who have been supporting cooperative federalism. We are hopeful that the Honorable Supreme Court will bring in some guidelines when it comes to the role, responsibility and the power of the governor when it comes to giving consent to the bill that has been enacted by the legislator.
My colleague Dharani is joining me right now to get us more details. Well, Dharani, scathing observations over there by the Supreme Court. The matter is still being heard by the top court. But clearly, as far as the governor's authority, his purview is concerned, that is now under the lens. Whether at all the governor can be given a leeway and a long rope in this manner to be sitting on bill for years on in the premise that it needs to be sent for reconsideration. Well, that is an area that the Supreme Court has had a strong view on.
Over 10 bills passed by the Tamil Nadu Assembly are still pending with Governor Ravi. He's been sitting on the bills for months now, and the state government has been questioning this behavior of the governor. In fact, they are the ones to approach the Supreme Court also in this matter. And while hearing the matter, the Supreme Court has questioned why the governor is not giving any reasons while sending the bills back, and the Supreme Court has also asked the governor to respond as to why he has not decided on 12 bills passed by the Tamil Nadu Assembly so far. So this is something the governor has to respond tomorrow by the end, tomorrow before the hearing begins. So let's wait and see how the governor is going to defend his stance on this matter. But the DMK is calling this, today's hearing from the Supreme Court as a win for their party. They're telling that the Supreme Court observations, slamming the governor for his behavior, especially when it comes to not providing reasons for sending the bills back and not providing reasons for stalling the bills. These are factors that we consider as a win for ourselves, because right from the beginning we've been claiming that the governor is acting against the constitution and that he behaves more like a politician rather than a governor. He's behaving like a RSS BJP spokesperson rather than a governor, is what the DMK has been claiming since the beginning. And they've also been alleging that the governor is interfering in the day-to-day activities of the government, and that he is often making political speeches in stages. He is not giving assent to multiple bills passed by the State Assembly. All of this collectively is against his role determined by the Constitution, is what they've been telling. And this particular hearing, today's observations from the Supreme Court is something that the DMK is happy about, and let's wait and see what the governor is going to respond to the court tomorrow. But for the time being, the DMK members feel that this is a much needed observation from the Supreme Court, and that at least from now on, the governor will provide assent to the bills passed by the Assembly in the fastest manner possible.
Absolutely. Dharani, thank you for getting us that quick update. We shall leave it at that for the moment. And we go across to a panel of guests who's joining me this evening. I'm joined by Mr. Dr. Pullar Rao, who is a political analyst. And I'm also joined by Mr. Anurag Naidu, who is also a political analyst. Well, thank you so much for taking your time and joining us over here. My first question would go across to Dr. Rao. This government versus governor is something that has been ailing several states, whether it's West Bengal, whether it's Karnataka, whether it's Kerala, and now, of course, we have been seeing time and again, Tamil Nadu, government versus governor, has been in headlines. In this particular case, it gains a serious proportion because the Supreme Court is seriously looking at the jurisdiction that lies with the governor to not give assent to several bills that have been passed by the Assembly. Dr. Rao, do you feel that there is a need to try and understand and perhaps revisit the rights that lies with the governor? Because eventually it's the state, an elected government has come forth, there is an assembly put in place, the state knows about the issues of the people, and then that state suffers.
You see, it's very unique, Governor Ravi. He is creating all these problems where there were none. Even the Supreme Court a few days ago said they can sit and solve this over a cup of coffee. The Supreme Court does not want to take stand on such issues. You can't make hard and fast rules. Even that hint the governor has not taken. What is a pocket veto? A pocket veto, which the Supreme Court is also framed as an issue, is the governor just sits on the law, he doesn't take any action. You know, as you rightly mentioned, some governors have become hyperactive for kind of attention, and they're seeking attention. Every little issue, they take attention. They want attention. And I believe his tenure also was over in August last year, and he's on an extension. He has been particularly troublesome, and he has not brought dignity to the position of governor. There are other governors who had differences with state government, and they handled them very well, even in the last 10 years. There are other governors, hardcore BJP governors, who are in various states where there are non-BJP governments, so they have no trouble. They have no problem. Some people, it's very unfortunate. You know, he doesn't have a political background. That doesn't mean anything. He has been creating this kind of niche for himself, finding issues, suddenly talking about religion, suddenly doing this. You know, it's unnecessary. He's bringing, he's lowering the office of governor, dignity. And, you know, everybody knows that it's not only sending the bill back for reconsideration, the governor can give us suggestions also. All of this is done behind closed doors. Don't forget, in Tamil Nadu, there was a chief minister like Jayalalitha, was very strong, very mercurial. Yet the governors got along with her. There were two very noted governors that got along with her. One was a very famous central minister. Other was a police officer, Ramon, who got along well. They used to suggest things to her. She agreed, and they went along. Well, what is happening here? It is unfortunate. I think the Home Ministry, which is the nodal ministry for governors, guiding them, I would say, should have said he's going too far. He's trying to create issues and creating trouble when none should exist. Are these issues which are earth-shaking? Are these issues which these bills are regular bills? He doesn't sort them out. He doesn't sit with the chief minister. His office doesn't sit with the chief secretary. Creates trouble, goes to the press, and then says, now, let us see what happens. You know, this is very, very unfortunate. And these are issues which is blowing up.
Let me bring in Mr. Naidu at this juncture, Mr. Rao. Mr. Naidu, we've just heard what Dr. Rao was saying about it. There is unnecessary hindrance that is being posed by the office of the governor. Mr. Naidu, can there be a discourse way by which a governor and an elected government can come on the talking table, and perhaps the governor can aid governance for the state? There are 12 bills that are pending with the Tamil Nadu's governor. Many have been sent back for reconsideration. You can suggest about the areas of concern, but why not grant assent?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. First of all, going by what Dr. Pullar Rao is suggesting, the governor should just be a mere spectator, enjoy the perks, or, enjoy the protocols and do nothing and just go by what the state government does. We need to understand the chair of the governor is also the responsibility, the moral responsibility of the governor is also to be the conscience keeper. Now, the governor needs to, uphold what is right, need to support what is right, need to stand for what is right. We have had this culture over the last 50, 60 years that we are only used to seeing the governors who are too old to even walk and too old, I'm so sorry to use, but too old to even be active, and we are used to seeing the governor who are literally the rubber stamps. But the Constitution and the provisions in the Constitution give some certain powers to the governor, which we need to understand. And in cases like Mr. Ravi, who is an eminent individual himself, who is educated, who knows what is doing, when you do not he's in all good sense wants to contribute to the policies of the state and give his feedback. He's also facing certain things from the state government, which is not expected. And let's be honest. He is well within his rights and constitutionally given powers to do what he's doing. And I think we need to understand that we, as from a state government or any elected government, also can take the first step, reach out to the governor, sit with the governor and understand how his services can be contributed for the development
I'll
of the state.
request you to kindly fix that line and I'll come back to you. There is an issue with your network connectivity. But Dr. Rao, you've heard what Mr. Naidu was trying to say. Mr. Naidu is trying to say that the office of the governor is a responsible position. He cannot be a mere spectator. It is not a rubber stamp that governor's office is supposed to be. And that is the reason why there are areas of concern. He is trying to put the bills back into reconsideration space. Why is the state government then not being able to take that in that stride? It takes two hands to clap. Perhaps this cannot be an anomaly if you're expecting an elected state government and a governor to come along to ensure that important bills that perhaps can be for the welfare of the state be taken up on priority basis and passed.
Look at his track record. What has he been doing? Every few months he would burst about Hindi or he would do something, getting publicity and, walking away from the assembly because, there was a procedure. The Tamil song was sung every time the assembly opened before the governor's speech. Then the national anthem. All these things, suddenly he will walk out. He walks out of the assembly. Is that correct? Is that the way to do things? Tell me. His track record is such. And, I don't want to question my friend Mr. Naidu. He also explains very well and all that. What is so eminent about him? Was he a freedom fighter? Did he sacrifice in political struggles? Is he a great writer? Is he a constitutional authority? He was lucky to get this job. You hold it properly. Nobody says you should just be a piece of decoration. Act in a way that your word has gravitas. Where is the gravitas in this governor? A governor need not have education or anything. If he has gravitas and an understanding, people will listen. Politicians don't want quarrels. I can tell you, no chief minister in anywhere in this country or a minister wants a quarrel. No prime minister wants a quarrel with the president. Look at his track record. I'm sorry. I don't condemn him. I don't know why he's doing this, why he wants to create all kinds of problems at all kinds of situations, and why he's doing these things. It is, therefore, he's looking for causes to fight. He's looking for issues to come up and then, put himself in the middle of all of this as if he's struggling, as if he's waging a fight for the Constitution, which he is not.
Well, interesting, Dr. Pullar. Thank you for joining us over here. And also, Mr. Anurag Naidu, we are going to wait to see what is going to be the final verdict by the Supreme Court. And this is going to be an important issue which may also be applicable to other states as well.